Good afternoon, everyone. The Liberals' AI strategy announced earlier today is reckless and inadequate. It leaves Canadians dangerously exposed. You know, it's entitled AI for All. It's more like all in for AI. We know that this technology can produce benefits for Canadians, but it needs effective regulation and strong guardrails. Look, we know that AI is driving mass surveillance, it's facilitating fraud, it's threatening jobs. It consumes huge amounts of water and energy, and it targets the most vulnerable members in our society, including children and seniors. And yet, the Liberals rushed through a superficial and quick consultation, and now they're mouthing the lines of tech billionaires. Their message to CEOs is they can drive ahead today on AI, but for Canadians, the protection for them, well, that can wait. So we're calling on the Liberals to scrap this inadequate policy, and the NDP is calling for a humans-first AI strategy, one that protects Canadian communities, Canadian jobs, Canadian small business, and Canadian natural resources. So thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
What do you make of the Prime Minister's argument that we need mass adoption of AI, that we need to embrace it in terms of job creation for the future? Like, I understand you think that this strategy doesn't have enough guardrails to protect people, but what do you make of the Prime Minister's argument that, like, basically AI is here and we have to find a way to kind of integrate it into the workforce, and that those are in some ways the jobs of the future?
Well, you know, there's no question that AI is here. The question is, what is the most effective government response to this? You know, they introduced legislation in the last Parliament to address some of the privacy and serious concerns around AI, and that has been aborted and is waiting. And we still, in this announcement today, are seeing the government tell Canadians they have to wait for the very, very critical protections that they need. You know, I know young people are anxious about AI, small businesses anxious about AI, communities are anxious about AI. The only people who seem to be truly excited about it are corporate CEOs. And that's because, speaking to the jobs element, they know that the mass adoption of AI is to replace human labor. And so, of course, CEOs are all in on it, but unions and people who are concerned about the impact this is going to have on jobs and workers across this country are very nervous. There's nothing in the strategy that will address that.
Do you think the strategy is relying solely on C-16 to regulate AI deepfakes, and do you think that's enough?
Well, it's not enough, absolutely. No, we need a comprehensive response by the government on AI, one that addresses all of the concerns that I mentioned. You know, the surveillance aspect, the privacy aspect, the impact on natural resources.
But I mean specifically AI deepfakes.
Well, you know, I don't think C-16 is enough on that, but it's a start.
About job losses, the strategy talks a lot about job creation, but not about the jobs that may potentially be threatened by AI. What do you make of that?
Well, again, I think that's he's mouthing what tech billionaires are saying. You know, they're telling us and telling societies that AI is going to create jobs when we all know that there are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of jobs that are at stake by the widespread adoption of AI. So I don't believe that mass adoption of AI will create jobs. I think it'll cost jobs. And until there's measures that are in place that will address that, I don't think the strategy is complete.
What kind of privacy and safety guardrails do you think need to be included in a strategy like this, or included as we go forward?
Well, I'll give you an example. What about the scenario where a grandmother is sitting at home and the phone rings and there's an AI-generated tape of her granddaughter's voice saying that she's in prison in Mexico and grandmother needs to wire money immediately? That's a very real example that I'm hearing from people that probably is here now. Where's the protection there? Where's the protection for the grandmother? We saw in the Tumbler Ridge incident a failure of ChatGPT, a failure of companies to regulate clear warning signs that had happened on AI. Where is the protection for young people? I don't see it in the strategy today. These are the kind of concerns that are being voiced by real people across this country, and they're not seeing it from this government being addressed or in the strategy today.
I know BC Premier David Eby and other Western premiers have talked about, called on the government to legislate a mandatory reporting threshold to deal with threats that happen in relation to the Tumbler Ridge incident. Do you support that need for like a mandatory reporting?
Yes,
some kind of national threshold?
Yes, I do. I do. If there are dangerous threats that are being picked up by tech companies online, absolutely they should be reporting that to authorities right away. It's common sense. Thank you very much.
Star suggesting that Prime Minister Mark Carney had some tense words for you during a caucus meeting. Is there any?
No. Well, here's the thing. First of all, I mean, caucus is, by definition, it's supposed to be confidential. So we like to keep it that way. I enjoy a very good relationship with Mr. Carney. I'm glad that we can disagree and still have a good working relationship.
So have you seen him yell at some people in a meeting?
I haven't seen it. No.
No, you've not seen it.
I have not. No.
So you characterize it as a disagreement and not him being.
Well, I've certainly, like I say, it was basically what we had was a disagreement. Exactly.
Thank you.
Sur des députés dans des réunions.
Non.
Non. Ce que le Toronto Star rapporte.
Moi, je n'ai jamais eu connaissance.
Est-ce que vous sentez que vous avez la liberté de faire part de vos préoccupations sans nécessairement amener une solution à ça?
Toujours.
À M. Carney?
Il est exigeant. You've never seen the Prime Minister yell in a meeting?
No, never.
Comment expliquer alors que certains de vos collègues semblent ne pas avoir cette lecture-là? Il est exigeant,
Ben, c'est sûr qu'il est exigeant. Je pense que pour être premier ministre, il faut être exigeant. Mais autrement, j'ai jamais eu j'ai jamais eu connaissance de quoi que ce soit. Merci. Bonne journée.
Merci à vous.
What is it?
I'm wondering if you've ever seen the Prime Minister yell at someone in a meeting.
No, never.
So what do you make of the Toronto Star reporting that he can be tough on people in caucus or in other contexts?
I don't know what's the source of their information. I didn't read the article. But it's not true.
You don't have any concern?
Well, sorry, it's not true in my experience. Appreciate that I'm not on the inner circle.
Did you read the story just to be clear?
I have not.
You've not, okay.
Yeah.
How would you describe his leadership style?
Confident. He has a good way with people. I would absolutely say that, and it's genuine. Like, he's a no bullshit kind of person. If he says it, he means it.
Tough?
Tough when appropriate,
Do you think
but
it's
not always tough. Not tough for the sake of being tough.
better than Alaska?
Well, the general public seems to think so, and the mood in caucus is better, but everybody loves a winner. I mean, we thought the other guy was all that in a bag of chips for about 3 years or more. So,
Are you worried that can happen here?
That can happen anywhere. I hope and expect that Mark Carney would have the appropriate level of self-judgment to know when his time's up, and quite frankly, history will be very kind to Justin Trudeau, but that he didn't have that last element, which was to know when to go. But the changes that he made in our country were transformational, and people will thank him for it. I have no doubt about that.
Do you feel a story like this one saying that he's raising the tone, that he's made comments that are barely inappropriate, that he's not letting people voice really their concerns? Is it an alarm signal to the Liberal Party?
It's absolutely untrue. There is room and space for all voices in the caucus, and that has been demonstrated time and again under Carney's leadership. So that is absolutely not true. Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
take care.
Lever le ton dans des réunions, disons. Non. Parce que le Toronto Star nous dit qu'il lève parfois le ton dans certaines réunions où tous les députés sont présents et ça rend plusieurs députés inconfortables.
Honnêtement, là, je connais évidemment M. Carney de par différentes interactions qu'il a eues directement avec moi. Je ne connais pas toutes les interactions.
Comment décririez-vous son style de...
In English, sorry, if I just get you to answer that in English.
No, all the interactions I've had with Prime Minister Carney have been very fruitful and positive.
Comment décririez-vous son style de leadership?
C'est un leadership qui m'inspire. Moi, je regarde d'où il vient, puis où il va, puis je suis économiste comme lui, on a à peu près le même âge, on a étudié presque en même temps. Il a une solide formation, une expérience considérable.
Mais est-il
il exerce
dur?
un leadership.
Est-il dur avec les députés?
Ou exigeant?
Exigeant.
Ben, je pense qu'il est à la hauteur des attentes des Canadiens. Là, il fait une temps en crise à plusieurs niveaux. Fait que là, il s'attend à ce qu'il dit très publiquement, il s'attend à ce que le gouvernement soit le plus en appui aux besoins et aux attentes des Canadiens. Alors, je pense que c'est un leadership qui inspire et qui nous mène dans la bonne direction. Et d'ailleurs, c'est pour ça que je suis très content d'être avec lui ces temps-ci, plutôt que d'être avec d'autres options de direction de partis politiques que nous aurions ici à Ottawa.
So what do you make of this? I'm wondering if you've ever seen the Prime Minister yell at anyone in a meeting.
I have never seen the Prime Minister act other than respectfully, and he is someone who is used to being in a boardroom, and I appreciate the back and forth with him. He's an incredibly smart guy.
Est-ce qu'il lève parfois le ton, M. Housefather?
Excusez-moi?
En français, est-ce qu'il
Oui,
lève
oui.
un peu le ton parfois?
Quant à moi, le Premier ministre est quelqu'un qui est très intelligent, c'est quelqu'un qui agit comme il est dans une réunion de la conseil de direction d'une compagnie. Il est toujours poli et quant à moi, toujours très intelligent et j'aime l'échange avec lui. Merci.
I'm just curious if you've ever seen the Prime Minister yell at anyone in a meeting.
No, the Prime Minister is great. I don't think the reporting has been very accurate on that. I read the article from the Toronto Star, and I've never seen the Prime Minister act in the ways that were described. So I think it's an inaccurate description. He's a very good people person. He respects caucus. He regularly meets with us, and I think we have a lot of trust in our caucus. So it's unfortunate that was reported in that way. Thanks.
Is that a surprise to you? It's not correct.
I
don't know where the error occurred, though.
Does your government plan to do anything to address anti-Black racism and create a committee and appoint Black people to it?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a place on the committee that Prime Minister Carney announced on Monday for an individual from the Black community. We're going through a final list of names currently. That was always the plan. And there's the role that the Center for Racial Relations plays. So, still a very prominent role in fighting anti-Black racism, which has its specificity and is particularly insidious. So, that's always a commitment. I saw Jean Augustine's press conference today, and we'll reflect on the comments that were made. There has and always will be a place for a member of the Black community, and a duty on all members to have a discussion that focuses around anti-Black racism.
J'aimerais juste vous entendre en français. L'histoire du Toronto Star, vous dites c'est faux, pourquoi? Parce que quelle a été votre réaction?
Quelle histoire du Toronto?
Comme quoi, M. Carney lève le ton, ne laisse pas les députés...
je parlerai pas de ça. C'est des potins.
C'est des potins.
Moi, j'apprécie son style de gestion. Puis sachez que j'ai été simple député aussi, avant d'être ministre. Donc, c'est les deux bords. J'apprécie son style de gestion.
Mais comment décrire ce style de gestion-là, M. Miller?
Efficace.
Well, it's this government's kind of been failing to make that a priority, even though Mark Carney said that he'd be the one that solved that problem.
I'll come back after.